Hey Ags, how we doing? I had to step away for about a week, take care of some things. Life just doesn't always go like you think it's gonna go. I'm sure you know what I mean. With that said, we got a lot to recap and a lot to talk about because there's been quite a few things going on. I'm gonna go all the way back and start with Ole Miss, though. I think my current situation kind of describes what happened with the Rebels. Things just don't go the way you think they're gonna go. Such is life. If I learned anything about this game, it is that stats do not win games. They don't win games. Um, I think they probably hold true a lot of the time, but they just don't. There's more to the game than that, which is what makes this game so fantastic. It makes it worth watching, especially at the college level. There are nuances that numbers just can't quite tell you. That you can't be quantified all the time. So I definitely think we ran into a very good team. This is the team that I had circled on my list at the very beginning of the year. I had us running the slate except for Ole Miss. And I had us getting a win against Alabama, had us winning against Arkansas and Mississippi State as well. Although those two didn't work out, thankfully the Alabama win did. This one went just as I kind of thought it was going to go. Sorry to say it ended up being a loss, but I thought that Ole Miss was a dangerous team right from the get-go, and they proved to be. They do have talent on the team. They can play up. I don't think we had a bad game. I don't think we had our best game, but I don't think we had a bad game. Defense played well. Offense was probably the lackluster side of the ball. Tell me if you saw the same thing or you had the same thoughts. This this Ole Miss team really punched us in the mouth right when they needed to. Just think they did what they needed to do. We missed a few opportunities. We had some times there when we could have taken advantage of it. We just didn't quite make it. But again, that's life. Things don't always go your way. And there are good teams out there that are going to put up a fight. We're going to get beat sometimes. We have an interesting dynamic going on. Right now, I'm extremely happy at 8-3 now that we beat Prairie View. Because, I mean, we're let's face it, we have a backup quarterback playing. And I've been really pleased with the way that Calzada is playing. He is tough as nails, and he's probably about a B quarterback for us. And I think he's had some A games. Average says he's probably going to play down at the C level at some point. And I think that's probably what we got from him against Ole Miss was probably a C game. There were definitely some errors that were going on. Some of the reads weren't there, whether it be audibling, moving into different plays, handing the ball off, holding it. Passing accuracy was a problem. But I don't expect the guy to play perfect every week, and so this is kind of to be expected, and it came at a time when we were going to be playing against a quality team. They probably sandbagged a little bit, and they said, acted like their receivers weren't going to be doing so well, and that Corral was struggling with his ankle. All right, well played, Ole Miss, well played. But I don't really think we were fooled by all that. It's just, hey, they came out and they played the game they were capable of. So hats off to them. And we lost to the state of Mississippi this year, but we won to the state of Alabama. So who's to say? Now we got a lot of other things going on too, because at that same game the week before when we played Ole Miss, right? We get Walter Nolan committing, but after Ole Miss. LeVeon Moss commits, and I think he's a top 75 player in the nation, 4-star running back. Really nice commitment to be getting after that win. After that loss to Ole Miss, because you're thinking, okay, well, we've lost momentum. Have we? I don't think we have, and so that makes me think, well, what does this commitment from Moss say? And I've come up with a couple things, but I think what I'm mostly leaning towards is that the recruits see the bigger picture. It's not about just a single game and a single season. It is the trajectory of the team and where it's headed. I think that plays out a lot here. And, recruits know what's going on. They can tell, like, this is a team that's on the come up, and they lost the game, but they're seeing us as in contention, and they're seeing us right on the cusp there, and somebody that's moving to that cusp from being away from that, not from being, in the playoff and kind of digressing backwards. So they're seeing the overall picture, and again, I've said this is a place that they see where they can go and get developed. They can go and have a future. They can form relationships and they can be developed. So they see this place as a place that they can go do that, and that speaks to the larger picture that Jimbo is putting together. So I don't know if you saw in this last game, but we had Kelvin Banks on campus for Prairie View, and he's an Oregon commit. We also had a 5-star commit offensive lineman to go along with Kelvin Banks, and Keontae Goodwin. This was the large human being that you probably saw on Twitter being joked about, because he looks like a 35-year-old position coach at 6'8", like 100, that's funny, right? 325 pounds. This guy would make me look like a Pee-wee player. Yeah, Pee-wee player. Big dude. So he wants to come back. He said that he probably should have gotten down here a long time ago, and now that he's seen it, wants to come back. Wish he would have picked a different game than the Prairie View game, to be honest. I think we could have been a hard sell there, because you guys are awesome when you're in that stadium and you got it packed. So we'll see. He is currently a commit to Kentucky. So LeVeon Moss commits from Louisiana. Walter Nolan commits from Tennessee. Are we going to get a commit from Kentucky perhaps, and Keontae Goodwin? We'll see. We have a few other guys that were there as well, notably Harold Perkins, 5-star running back. Misspoke again, 5-star linebacker. So we've got a lot of irons in the fire, and this is what I was talking about a few months ago at the end of August, when there's a lot of irons in the fire, and we're going to get something branded here. And I'm trying to decide whether or not it's some 44 Farms Angus, or if it's just some pasture cow, right? And so the signs looked like this was going to be prime steak is what this looked like, because of all the possibilities of who we have that are coming out. So you've got Harold Perkins saying that we're in his top 3. I put this whole video together back in August. You need to go back and rewatch that. But essentially, we have so many opportunities because so many guys have us in their top 3 and top 5 that's what makes the top 3 seem realistic. And if things fall in the right place, number 1 class, it's in the mix. Some things that probably go our way, but absolutely possible. So we'll see. Just having these guys on campus is a huge one from my perspective, because this is not something we had going on 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So we'll see how things play out. So anyways, we moved to 8-3 after getting the win over Prairie View. The game was as we expected it to be. I think the over-under was 50, so we topped that, and the spread was, who knows, something outrageous. I want to caution, though, real quick, to think that we're all put back together after this kind of game, because our little brother thought the same thing after they beat Rice. They got beat by Arkansas, and then play Rice and DKR, and then go thrash Texas Tech, and they're on a roll. Haven't won one since, though, right? And so we know how that's going, and we've seen all the tears. So I want to caution a win against Prairie View is thinking, okay, we're back to that Alabama form when we beat them. We're playing like we did against Auburn. So be careful. Just be careful, because this LSU team is also dangerous. We're going to preview them later in the week. So we'll see. I'm hoping that we'll get back to the at least the B, hopefully B+ game out of Calzada. And I'm looking for, I think the Line had one of their worst games against Ole Miss. So really want to see them step that back up. They really stifled us in the run game. So I know we can run that better, and we can do much better there. So I can't expect them again to also have the perfect game every single time. So we're just going to have to live with some of this, right? But we do have the opportunity to get to 9-3 if we beat LSU. And if we beat LSU, getting in the bowl game, depending on who that's going to be, we have the opportunity for 10-3, and that's a marker. I'd really be happy with 9-3, 9-4, especially after the way this season has gone. I had hoped for 10-2 in the regular season. I had taken the over on the 9.5 regular season wins, but when Haynes King went down, that was going to be a outside chance, since we're going to have to develop somebody throughout the rest of the season. And hats off to Calzada, though. Not an ill will towards that guy at all. It's just when you're in that position, you do the best you can. I think he's done that, so very proud of him. But it is what it is, and so in our current situations, current circumstance, I think 9-3 regular season is good. I think it's probably expected in that situation. So really want to get that win from LSU. We have not beat them in Death Valley since 1994. The score was 18-13. That was a weird year too. As I read back on that, we had been banned from TV that year, and I think the following year we played them in '95 at home at Kyle. We won, and they wanted to end the series, and so they paid us some sort of lump sum of maybe $100,000 to go ahead and end the series. So we are currently down, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 34-22 in the series. So getting another win would be sweet and move us towards evening that up. It would also make us the winner the last 3 or 4 years. Now we can, if we do something like that, win at night in Death Valley, we could maybe start to really get to calling this a bit of a rivalry. There's already been some chatter on Twitter talking about how they're going to win. So you need to check that out if you haven't seen that too. You can follow me over on Twitter at ATM Cold Chills, and you can find some of this stuff a little bit easier that way. But yeah, it's out there. It's being said, and they're already talking as if they've won the game. So we're going to have something to say about that on Saturday. You can bet that. So. Lot happened in the last 2 weeks. It's good to be back. Life's hopefully going to be getting back to normal here for me, and then hopefully also for the Aggies. And we'll get back in the win column here, finish out the season strong, head into early signing day coming up here in December, and then finish strong on National Signing Day in February. So keep it posted. Final note is... I want to say this: Jimbo stays. Jimbo stays. If you've stayed the course, I hope you have. He's not going anywhere. He would be a fool to go somewhere at this point. I mean, and that's not to say that LSU is not a great job. I don't know if they even considered him now for the Florida job. But he has apparently been on the short list for a long time, and it's probably getting ready to be more on the short list of those that would thought to be the coach that turned it down. So we're putting in a $200 million renovation project, right, for track and field, I think in basketball, maybe a few other things that he's asked for. We have shown our commitment. We're behind this guy 100%. He knows we're behind him at Kyle Field, and we've just been all in the entire time. He'd be a fool to leave that kind of thing, and this guy is no idiot. I think in the press conference where he was asked about this repeatedly, a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks in a row, it almost feels like it was kind of a plant question, because you want to make sure you say these things so that the recruits hear them, because they can recruit you on the trail and say, well, is he going to be there? Is he going to go? LSU's going to take him. What are they going to do? And so making a definitive answer over and over again helps to silence those kinds of things and keep people like Walter Nolan knowing that he's made the decision and he can stay that and it be that whenever he gets to that day. So great times. I won't rest easy until they've actually found their coach, but I believe it 100% in this guy, and I think he believes in us too, and so that's what makes this relationship so special. So excellent time. Again, it's great to be back talking with you folks. We'll put out the preview for LSU later this week. I didn't do one for Prairie View. I mean, it was Prairie View, and plus, like I said, I was getting a few things together going on. So That's what we got for this week's reaction and recap of the last two games. And early thoughts, I think LSU is going to have a tough task playing these Aggies. I think they want it, but it's going to be their senior night. So I'm looking for something special. So let's see what we can get. It is Thanksgiving week. I'm ready to eat some tiger, all right? We'll see y'all later.